We go. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. On behalf of Bee Coaching and Consultants, I'm so pleased to be able to bring you this webinar this afternoon. So today's webinar is using ICT to support students with learning difficulties. This is a webinar that's designed for teachers, leaders, parents, SSOs, anyone looking for a bit of support for their students or their children with accessing their learning through the use of technology. So first of all, I want to say congratulations and a big thank you for clicking on that registration button. I'm really excited to be showing you some incredible features designed to help your students with their classroom learning and also to help you on the next stage of your ICT journey. So ICT in the classroom is a huge passion of mine. I've worked extremely hard on putting this webinar together. I've attached a feedback form to the chat feature. I'm just going to pop that in now. Just a little Survey Monkey link. There we go. So I would love if at the end of the webinar, you could give me just a quick feedback. It just takes 2 minutes just on the webinar, what you thought about it. If there's anything else you think I should include, would be really great. Thank you so much. So first off, let me introduce myself a little. So welcome. My name is Lesley Peters. I am a coach and a consultant for Bee Coaching and Consultants. We are a small but a growing business based here in Adelaide, and our specialty, what I love is coaching. So being there with you in your classrooms, building teacher capacity, supporting you, doing everything that we can to help you make workable changes to your classroom that are effective, that are realistic, really important, things that are sustainable, things that are actually going to keep happening. And what I think is most important are functional and specific to the actual needs of your classroom. So I'm currently working as a classroom teacher at a primary school here in Adelaide, and I've taken on a number of different coaching roles over the last 8 years of my career. I love it so much, hence my decision to pursue this in a more specialised role. My specialties are, of course, ICT, particularly using ICT to support students with learning difficulties, but I also have a high interest in literacy pedagogy, primarily teaching reading comprehension, guided reading, book club, and using writer's notebooks as well. And of course, I love to combine literacy and ICT together. So if you like what you see here today, make sure you take down my contact details at the end of the webinar and get in touch with me about coaching in your school. So with that, time is pressing, so let's move on. Now, I do need to start today with a quick disclaimer. I'll be showing you a number of IT products available for teachers to use, and I need to state that I do not own or work for any of these companies who produce these products. I'm not being paid to promote them or endorse them in any way, shape or form. As I've stated, I just really love the products. I love helping teachers use them, and I love helping students use them to help with their learning. Also, to protect the privacy, the names and the images of my students that I teach, I have recreated a lot of the content myself. So you will see some adult made work samples here and there. And as I'm using 3 different devices to show you all the products, the sound does change a little as we go through. So apologies if you have to adjust your volume. And I'm also using 2 screens at the moment. So my camera is here, but my presentation is over here. So you'll notice that my eyes are sort of darting back and forth a little bit. And lastly, as you know, we are extremely limited in our budgets as teachers, and that's why I endeavour to show you only products that are free to use. So the only thing I'm showing you today which costs money is Book Creator, but it is relatively cheap for a great product, and it is so commonly used that if your school does have a bank of iPads that you are looking to use in your class, I'd be willing to bet that Book Creator is actually already on them because it's just so commonly and widely used. All right, let's get this show on the road. So here is an overview of today's content. I thought I would show you some of my current favorites and some of my old favorites. A positive that has come out of the last 2 years of COVID is that software designers have implemented so many new things into their products to make them more user-friendly and to make kids be able to use them more independently, which is awesome. And so this means that students are a lot more independent and capable at using them, and they're much easier for us as teachers to set up as well. Woohoo! So for each product I'm going to show you, I will give you a summary of what it does, what device is best to use it on. I'll explain how each one is to be set up, and then I'll show you an example of how it actually works in the classroom. And I also want to point out, so 3 things that I'm showing you today, Immersive Reader, Reading Progress, and Flipgrid are Microsoft products. And 2 of those ones do need a Microsoft account to be able to use. But if you're in the department, obviously your school's email addresses gives you that access to the products already. But what some people don't know is that all the students also have access to it with their school email address. So every public school student can automatically access it through their own email, and they actually have already been set up with it, but you may need your IT person to just kind of activate them. So ask your IT person about it. They will definitely get your kids started on it. Staff and students in independent schools, they're all different depending on how your school works. But between your school having the Microsoft licenses and having Microsoft Office, and plus your EDU emails as well, for the independent schools, you will have access to it, but you just need to figure out with your IT department how that works. So please feel free to ask questions as we go along by writing them in the little chat feature. I will do my best to answer them at the end of each segment. If I can't, I will definitely get to them at the end of the webinar. And please feel free to turn off my little video box so you can fully see your screens. Okay, so first up, we've got Immersive Reader. So Immersive Reader is an incredible feature that comes built into the Microsoft Office suite and can be used by students in Word, PowerPoint, Teams, OneNote, Outlook, Flipgrid, and also Minecraft education as well, which is exciting. So it's basically a tool who helps students who have problems with reading read a little bit better, so that things like instructions or worksheets don't become a hurdle for them to access their learning. Now, this is just a tool, it's not a program, but I'm showing it to you first because the programs I'm showing you later have it included. So it's super easy to use. You just find the little Immersive Reader icon over there in whichever program that you're using. And you can use it on most devices. However, it does look different depending on what you're using it on. So I will show you how it looks starting with a Mac and then a Windows and then an iPad. All right, so let's get to it and have a look at Immersive Reader. Okay, so here we are in Microsoft Word. So there are a number of features built into the Microsoft products that will help children who have trouble with their reading and also with their writing. So the first thing I'm going to show you on the home page of Word, if you go right down here to the end, there is a button called Dictate. All right, so if you click on that, a student who has trouble with their writing can actually just say what they want to say into the computer microphone and it will come up on the page for them. So let's have a go at that. If you have a student with a writing condition such as dysgraphia, comma, or a student that finds it hard to make the connection from the information in their brain to their pen on the paper, comma, the Dictate tool is a really handy tool to use. Full stop. And turn it off. All right, now you can see we've got one little spelling error in there, which we can then go back and change. But everything else is good to go. The really great thing is down here there's a settings, so you can also change the language that you're speaking in, and there's also the opportunity to be able to turn on and off the auto punctuation. I like to leave it off because I think it's really great practice to help the kids know whether they need to put in the commas and the full stops. You'll notice that I actually had to say them to be able to put them in. All right, so that's the Dictate tool. Really great speech-to-text tool for those students who just have a lot of trouble with their writing. We know that there's lots of them in our classes, and this is just something that can really just make learning so much easier for them. So the next few features I'm going to show you are for students who have a bit of difficulty with their reading. So imagine you want to do an activity where you have a piece of text that the student needs to engage with, put it on a Word document for them, they can put it up on their device, have it with them, and then there is a number of things that they can do to help them read it, and I will show you. Okay, so you're in home screen, go down to view. All right, and now like I said, these things are available on all the Microsoft products. I'm just showing you on Word because it's just nice and easy and simple to see. So the first thing you can do is you can click on this button, Focus. Okay, and what that does is It actually blocks out the background of the page, so it actually gets rid of all the distractions for them, and that can help them actually really focus in and concentrate on what the text is and what the words are. Similarly, if they're writing, it helps get rid of they get a bit lost in changing font size and changing paragraphs and changing margin size and colors, and it really just helps focus in. This is the page, I want you to put some writing on it. If they're not a fan of the black, if the black is a little bit too much for them, they can change to a birch wood, or they can change to more of a mahogany. It's up to you, whatever works for you, whatever works for the student. All right, so that's the focus tool. Turn that off, and then the one right next to it is Immersive Reader. Click on that and I'll show you what that does. All right, so it's got a number of tools that they can do with their text. Right, the first one is you can change the column width. So at the moment it's set on very narrow. You can also change it to wide. Okay, let's change it to moderate, nice and easy. And that just helps them either focus in or focus out on what they need to read. The great thing they can do is they can change the page color. So I have found that children with dyslexia tend to find it a lot easier to read writing that is on a yellow background. But if another color works better for them, they can choose a number of different colors. But I have found that yellow tends to be the best color for most students. You can then change the text spacing. So you can see now the text has been spaced further apart. It's a little bit easier to read. The sentences themselves have been spaced further apart. And then you can also put in syllables. So some students find it easier if the syllables are broken up continuously. Just having that little break there can help them to focus in on the word and just clarify what letters are actually there a little bit easier. So those are some really great additions. And the last one here is this read aloud button, which is also excellent. So if there is a paragraph here that they're just really struggling with, they've already tried all of these features and they're still just having a little bit of trouble, highlight the passage, click read aloud, and it actually reads it aloud to them.
There are about 20 plates along the surface of the earth that move continuously.
Similarly, maybe they've got just one word, so perhaps the word continuously is quite a tricky word. Oops, let's get the whole word. And then they can click read aloud and it will read the word for them.
Continuously and slowly.
All right, so those are some excellent features to help students to be able to access their reading in order to help them with their learning for a lesson. So the next feature I want to show you with Microsoft Word is if you go to Review, I actually want to show you there's a Translate button here. So if you have students who are EALD and they are struggling to be able to complete the task you've given them because they just don't know the vocabulary, that's a really handy tool that they can use. So imagine they get down to, think of it this way, imagine holding a pencil horizontally and they think, horizontally, I don't know that word. They can highlight the word, go up to here, click on translate the selection. All right, I'll come over here and it has a plethora of languages to choose from. So say your child is French. All right, and then it gives them the French translation of that word. Or if they want to, if they're really struggling, they can actually just highlight an entire thing. And then it gives them the French translation over here. Pretty amazing, hey? Okay, so here are the word features on a Windows device. So this is Windows 10, and as you can see, the features are very similar and in the same spot. So over here on the home screen, we still have the dictate feature. If we go to review, we've still got the translate feature here. And then if we go to view, we've still got the focus feature and the immersive reader feature. So I'm going to go to immersive reader. So if I have some issues with dyslexia, I can change to have my writing. Well, let's make it actually a little bit more narrower than that. I'm going to change my page color to blue because blue works well for me. I can change my text spacing a little bit more. And then the one feature that unfortunately the Macs don't have is this line focus feature, which is the one new thing. So if I click on, say, one line, as you can see, it blocks out part of the text to only show you one line at a time. Then you can use the arrows over here to move up and down between the lines. If you want, you can change it to 3 lines or even 5 lines. All right, so that's the one difference that the Windows have that unfortunately the Mac doesn't, but it's a great feature to have. I love that.
And lastly, here we are on Microsoft Word on an iPad. So we open up a new document, we click to start typing, and you will see that over here is actually your dictate function right there for you. So if you click on that, you are able to use the dictate function on the iPad also. Full stop. Okay, but you will notice if you want to go back to the keyboard, just click that button again. And when you go back to the keyboard, you will find that there is actually a little microphone button down here too. So if I click that, this microphone also does the same job. Full stop. Okay, so on the iPads, this little microphone on the keyboard will always come up every time that you put the keyboard up. That's a fantastic function of the iPads. So sometimes this one you won't actually even need because that one is always there for you. All right, so that is a helpful tip for students who have trouble with their writing. And also I will show you with the reading. Let me just get that one ready for you. All right, so I've just got a maths worded problem ready for you. So the Immersive Reader function is really helpful for those students who have trouble accessing their maths because their reading skills get in the way. So whether it be a student who just has low reading skills, low vocabulary, maybe an EALD student who has low vocabulary, or someone who does have something such as dyslexia, this will help them bridge that gap to be able to access their maths without their reading problems hindering them. So we've got our maths worded problem here for you. Up the top here, if you go to view on the end, and then you'll find there's Immersive Reader there. Now it doesn't have as many features as the laptop, but it still has enough, I think, to get by. So you can change the page color. Okay, you've got the text spacing, which you can make it bigger, and then also you have the read aloud function for those students who just need particular words read to them.
All right. The great thing about having students access text in Word as well is that they can also change font size and the font style, just the way you would normally do it when you're creating a document. And you can download, there's a font called Open Dyslexic, which is a very, very good font for dyslexic children. And you can get it free from pretty much any font website and then install it onto Microsoft Word. Easy. All right, moving on. Okay, my absolute favorite thing at the moment. I am in love with this program. It is called Reading Progress. Have you heard of it? You are going to be so excited. So it is a feature. It's a part of Microsoft Teams. So you have to have Microsoft Teams for it to work. And it was only released to teachers in August of last year. So it's really quite new and it's still evolving and improving. So basically it is a tool for assessing student reading. So students record themselves reading a passage of text on Teams, which you set up as an assignment. And then the text is automatically analyzed for mistakes. And then you can leave them feedback and send it to them and the parent to have a look at. It's really exciting. So you can use it on any device. Basically, so you have your team set up, you create it as a new assignment, and then the students will go in and complete the assignment as they would any other assignment on Teams. Have a play with the settings. It's really exciting, but I'm just going to show it to you because, oh my God, it's just so good. All right, have a look at it.
Okay, reading progress in Microsoft Teams. So here we are in Microsoft Teams in my assignment section. Here are a couple of reading progress projects that I've already set up. I'm going to show you how to set up a new one. So you go down here to create a new assignment. Okay, then we enter a title, give it a name so that the kids know what it is that they need to do. You can even say if it's a year level or a specific topic, you can put in whatever description you want to. With the instructions, actually instead of record, I was going to say record yourself reading the reading progress passage and upload it. Okay, and now here, can you see the button attach? When you click on attach, down the bottom, your last choice here is reading progress. Okay, so click on that one, very important. Now you have the choice of either importing your own Word document if you've got sight words that you've set your kids up, or if you've got a particular passage you want them to read. For now, I'm just going to go to browse the sample library and we'll just choose one.
Okay, so we've opened up the sample library. You can see there's a couple to choose from, either from non-fiction or fiction. And it does have the Lexile level over here as well, if that's something you're familiar with, and a word count. So let's choose one for, say, year 5. And I'm going to have a look at Earth Science, the weather. If you have a look in here, you can preview what it looks like. Yep, that looks great. They've got some nice tricky words in there. Okay, I'm going to select that one. Here it is over here. All right, now if you go over to the right menu over here, you've got a couple of things you can choose from. So you can leave the reading level at 730 Lexile, or you can put in year 5 level if you want to. Now you can choose how many attempts the kids get at reading it. I like to set it at about 3 because that gives them a couple of chances just to figure it out. But then you're not getting a passage that they've practiced 15 times and have it perfect. You want to actually see what they can do. Time limit, I set no time limits. They can take as long as they want to do their recording, and leave the pronunciation sensitivity at default. That's fine. You can choose if you want to have a video footage of your children or if you just want to have audio. I like to have the video. All right, click next. All right, here we are. So that has loaded that up there. You can then go down and choose if you want it set to all students or particular students, and you can set due dates. And then go up here to assign. All right, and there it is, popped in there. All right, now let's go have a look at a student's view to see what it looks like for them. Okay, so we're logged in now as a student. I'm inside my teacher's team. Over here on the left are all the things I can access. I'm going to go to assignments. And then here are all the reading progress assignments that my teacher has set me. So here is the one that we just made. If I click on that one, see the earth science, the weather. Now, if I need help reading the instructions, come over here. There's the Immersive Reader icon, as it's a Microsoft product, and that will help me play through the instructions if I need. And then when I'm ready to go, I just click on the link that is here. It puts up my video, and then I can also see that my microphone down here is working, and I can see I've got 2 tries left for this one. All right, so I'm going to start. It will give me a little countdown. And then once I'm inside, if I need to, I can go to this little button up here, and then from there I can actually, you can see that it's paused, I can actually change my font size. If I need to make that bigger or smaller, I can increase spacing of the words. I've actually found that a lot of children read better when it's in Comic Sans for some reason. And then also you can change the background color for this one. It would be great if they had the line focus. I believe that is a feature that is coming soon, which is awesome. All right, and then from there, I can read. Weather is made up of several different components. In order to understand weather, you must understand air temperature, clouds, wind, and precipitation, rain and snow. All right, I won't make you sit through this entire thing. Click I'm done when you're finished, so they can either try it again or they can use it, so they can play it and see how they sounded. Okay, and then when they're done, they can press use this one. It will attach it to the assignment, take you back to the assignment page. Now, if you need to hand up anything else with it, you can attach anything there as a student, obviously. And then once I'm happy with it, you click hand in, and it'll give you a different little a little celebration. Every time you hand something in, there's a different little cartoon graphic that comes up there. It's fabulous. I like seeing the next thing that it's going to be. All right, so that's done from a student perspective. Let's go back to a teacher, and I will show you what it looks like. Okay, so once your student has done their reading progress assignment and handed it back up to you, this is what it looks like from the teacher's point of view. So John Doe has read, "What do plants need for me?" And as you can see, I've got the recording up here if I want to sit and listen to the recording. And then it has all the text broken down for me here, color-coded into which words were mispronounced, which words were omitted, inserted, repeated, or self-corrected. And it's also got the accuracy rate there for me. So if I want, I can simply just play his video and just listen to how he did the whole thing. Or if these are all correct, there's no point in me listening to those. So I can go through and find specific words that he has got wrong. So for example, down the bottom here, he's got the word carbon was mispronounced. So I can click on the word, And then down here I can click on jump to word and it'll go straight to that word and it'll show me what he did.
Carbon dioxide.
So he said carbon dioxide, so it's been picked up as mispronounced. And over here you can see he's put the word glucose in twice, and he has also mispronounced that one as well. So let's just have a look at what that one sounded like.
Glucose.
Excellent. So you can really have a really good idea of how their reading is going, which is really great. And then up the top here, you can see how many times he's attempted it. So I can see he did this on his first go. So this is a pretty raw attempt. So I can know exactly where he's at, his year level, the words, and then insights I'll show you a little bit later. And another feature of the reading progress is if you notice that it's picked up something that wasn't actually a mistake. So let's have a look at many plants have roots. I'll see what he has said for this word here.
Roots.
Oh.
Stems and
Well, he actually got that one correct. So you are actually able to edit this before you send it back to them for feedback. So if you just click on it, it gives you the option of marking it as correct. You can say, no, that was fine. Or you can actually change it to, no, that was actually a repeated word, or he actually self-corrected that really well. So we'll just mark that one as correct. So it gives you that feature to be able to edit it before you send it back to them, so you can send them an accurate report, which is great. Okay, so the great thing about this is that you can actually send the feedback back to the student. So if you have a look over here, you can choose the kind of way that you want to send it back. So you can either send a full report, which has everything, or you can just send them their video and a marked passage, or you can actually choose what you would like to send them from this report. So that's a really great feature. And then if you go over here, what you can actually do is you can put some feedback when you send it back to them. So you can say, well done, John, great reading. Or if John is a student who has a little bit of trouble reading or is a young reader and not great at reading your feedback, what you can do is you can actually video your feedback. All right, so let's click on that and I'll show you what it does. That was a great reading, John. Have another look at those science words, carbon dioxide and glucose, the ones that we've been looking at in our science lessons. And could you return it back to me, please? Thank you. Okay, so you've made that for him. You can then review it, change it if you want to, but no, it's fine. We'll press publish. Okay, give it a name. Say John feedback. Upload, and what that does is it will attach your little video file to his feedback. You can see it's done it over here, and then you can say return, so just give it back to him, or return for revision, meaning that you would like him to have another go and then send it back to you. Okay, so it's up to you what you want to do there. And then that's great because then mum and dad at home can actually have a look at it as well, and then they will get instant feedback about how they've gone with their reading. Now, the other thing I love about reading progress is the insights. So the insights gives you an insight into pretty much what's been happening in your team in lots of different places, but you can be specific, and this is the insight specifically for reading progress. And what it does is it gives you a whole bunch of data on all the reading progress assignments that your kids have sent back to you. Okay, so but what I love the most is if you go down here to the challenging words, it will show you in this little kind of word cloud a number of the words that the majority of the students have been finding difficult to pronounce. And what you can do is you can create a reading progress challenge. So if you click on this button, create a challenge assignment. And what it does is it will create another reading progress assignment using just those words, and you can send it back to your students. Okay, so it takes you back to this page. So we've got challenge assignment, you can call it science words if you want to, and then change all the other things that you would change before, due date, etc., etc. Assign it, and then it'll go to your list, and it's up here, challenge assignment science words. And you can see that it's just created a list of words that your students can then practice, record themselves, and then send it back to you if you need to. It's great.
So I think the program is mostly used for students who do have some ability to read. However, I did create a list of sight words, and I did get this lovely reception student to test that for me. And it's while the ability to pick up the words was a little bit off because she did a lot of decoding and sounding out, you can still get a video of exactly what she did for each word. which can still cut down your time in the classroom, and it can also help bring mum and dad into her reading program at home as well. So I've tried it with different students, and to be honest, the feedback that I got from the students themselves was that they actually really loved seeing the feedback part of it. So I asked them, was it exciting for you to record yourself on the screen? And they kind of all said, oh yeah, that was all right, but we really enjoyed actually seeing the feedback of how I went. And that was really interesting because we often forget how much the students actually really do enjoy getting feedback about their work. So I thought that was a really great positive to come out of it.
So what did you think of reading progress? How much time do you think that's going to save you in the classroom? I did have a year 7 student a few years ago who had a reading age of about year 1. And as you can imagine, it was impossible to get him to read to us. He wouldn't read to his SSO. And eventually we got to the stage where he would read into his iPad camera, record himself and listen back. So had this reading progress been around at the time, I feel like it would have been a perfect tool for him to use to be able to help him improve his confidence and then improve his reading. He would have been able to read in the privacy of his own home, receive feedback through the computer screen instead of receiving it from me because he was too embarrassed to. It does come available with over 100 different languages. You can use it with Immersive Reader so that students who need those adaptions can use them. And it creates those customizable reports, which you can send back to the student and also the parent. At the moment, it's just tracking fluency and decoding. It's quite new, like we said, but you can attach other Word documents to it, asking them to do some of the comprehension side questions as well. And then they can attach that when they send it back to you. And some improvements coming to the program in the next couple of months as well is they're going to add in the ability to assess the students' expression and their ability to read the punctuation, which is exciting. And they're also adding a new thing called Reading Coach, which basically takes the words that they're having trouble with and it gives them this automatic little coach that helps them decode those tricky words that they've got, which I think is really cool. Okay, moving on. All right, so we are looking now at notes and some of the Apple iPad features. They are great tools to have in the classroom to make learning more accessible for your students. The great thing about them is that they come preloaded onto iPads already. They're already there, they're free and they're available to use. Notes is also a really great alternative if you don't have access to Microsoft Word on the iPad. It's best just to see this one in action, so let's have a look at it.
So this is your basic notes. It's just a white screen, and up the top here are all your functions that notes can do. So I'll actually show you a couple of really helpful ones. This one here, if you click on it, you will notice that there's actually a function here called Scan Documents. And I actually find that's a really helpful tool if you're sitting in the classroom and you need something scanned to put on your computer and it's just a really long walk to the photocopier and you just don't want to. I find that button is actually really helpful and actually does a really good job if you need something scanned so you can put it on your computer and send it, email it out or whatever. So that one is there for you. You can also take photos and videos. The one next to it is just your regular drawing tool, so you can just use this as a basic drawing feature if you want. And then over here you can add bits and pieces on your page as well, so you can add grids and whatnot. Is a really helpful function as well. So if you're going to do a writing activity, but you have a student who has severe dyslexia or dysgraphia and just really struggles with putting writing down onto a page or doesn't want to because they're not confident with their spelling skills or their writing skills, then if you can see down the bottom here on the keyboard, there's actually a little microphone, all right? And that is your dictate function, which is really helpful. So I'm going to give that a press and then see what happens. Good afternoon, everyone, comma. I hope that you're really enjoying my webinar. Full stop. I like that it helps me learn where to put my punctuation in. Full stop. I have to say it to make sure that it's there. Full stop. Okay, then you just press the little keyboard down the bottom to stop your recording. And I think that's just a really great tool to help those students who just really struggle with their writing. All right, the other feature I'm going to show you, if I just go back to a note I've prepared before. Oh, no, that's this one. Okay, so if you've got a little bit of text on the notes already and the student is having a little bit of difficulty reading it, this function comes built in with almost every app that you put onto the iPad, which actually involves text. I'm just showing it to you in the notes function because it's easier. But in many cases, for most of the apps I can think of on the iPads, when you have a bit of text and you sort of highlight the text or press and hold to highlight the text, can you see up the top a little kind of box comes up here, and one of the buttons here says speak. Okay, now if you press that, the iPad will actually read the text aloud to you. Okay, and this comes free, ready to go on all iPads, on lots of different apps, like I say, whichever ones use text. In your settings on your iPad, you can actually choose the type of accent that you want, or if you want a male voice or a female voice, you can choose which country your speaker comes from. So if you want them to be hearing it with an Australian accent, set it to an Australian one. I actually have mine set to a South African accent. Okay, so I'm just going to press the button speak and it will read it aloud to you.
The Note Speak function is a really useful tool for helping students to pronounce unknown words and play around with different punctuation to see how the flow of the sentence changes.
Okay, and what I really love about this is the students can actually, let's see, if we take out where the commas were, and we show students that the flow of the sentence actually changes. All right, so we'll just highlight again. Okay, speak.
The Note Speak function is a really useful tool for helping students to pronounce unknown words and play around with different punctuation to see how the flow of the sentence changes.
And you can talk to your students about how now the sentence is all in one breath and there's no pauses and it's really long. And then you can get them to put in some commas in places that are like not correct places. So the Note Speak function is a really useful, let's pop one in there because that's not a right place for it, tool for helping students to pronounce unknown words and play. Pop one in there as well. And then get the kids to play back the sentence and see how putting commas in the wrong spot actually changes the sentence. All right, so I'll just highlight again.
The Note Speak function is a really useful tool for helping students to pronounce unknown words and play around with different punctuation to see how the flow of the sentence changes.
Okay, so then you can talk to your students, well, did that sound right? Which bits didn't sound right? And then this is something that they can sit with themselves and have a play around to learn where they need to put in commas and things like that. Lastly, I just wanted to reiterate again that these two features, so the microphone dictate feature and the speak feature, are already inbuilt into all the iPads. So anytime that you have to call the keyboard up to input text, the dictate microphone feature is already there for you. Anytime you have text in an app which you are able to highlight, if you can highlight it, you can call up the speak button. All right, so go into your iPad and actually have a play and see how that works, because they are two tools already there, inbuilt, ready to go, that are just so helpful for students to be able to access some different parts of their learning, and it'll just make their worlds a whole lot easier. So go and have a play and see how they work for you in your classroom.
All right. Flipgrid is my other amazing favorite thing at the moment. This is your program to use, again, for students who find writing a problem, but also for students with really low self-confidence, with anxiety, or just don't have the social skills to collaborate well in a group. It's a discussion response program where students respond to ideas, questions, learning concepts purely through video responses, which can be made exactly in the same way that students are making their videos on TikTok or Snapchat or Instagram. So the kids absolutely love it, but because it has been made specifically for education, it is a safe platform, which means parents will love it. Flipgrid itself has been around for a while, but it was only recently acquired by Microsoft and made a part of the education suite very recently. It is fairly intuitive to get started. It's accessible on any device that has a camera. You'll need to create a teacher's account, and then students can create their own accounts. Then you create a class group, and then the students will join your group with the code. What I really love is you can also integrate it with your class teams and have your students access all your discussion topics through Teams. All right, so let's take a look at Flipgrid.
All right, welcome to the inside of Flipgrid. So this is sort of be your homepage to start with, and from here you can make groups within your class. All right, so I've got one group here, Lesley's Totally Talented Team, and this is where my whole class can join in and post to the things that are whole class discussions, or you can create some sort of sub-teams if you want to. So if you've got 3 kids doing an oral presentation, you can assign them into one team and then they can work on in that one team together. So those are all your options if you want to as well. So we've got Lesley's Totally Talented Team over here. There's lots of things you can do. For example, adding another teacher as an admin for it. You can duplicate the group so you've got more than one. One of the great things is here the Teams integration. So what you can do is have a link that you can put into your Teams if you're using Microsoft Teams with your class, and therefore the kids just go into Teams, click on the link, and they find themselves into this team without having to put in any codes or anything. So to create a new group, it's really simple. Go up here to create a group. Okay. Otherwise, if you're joining maybe another class's group, you can join a group and put in the code for their group. All right, so let's go into Lesley's Totally Talented Team and we'll have a look. All right, so here's the group code up here. So when students go into Flipgrid on their devices, it will ask them to join a group with a code. Okay, here's a picture of that. Excellent. So that's the code there for you. But otherwise, like I said, if you're using Teams, it's really helpful just to have that easy, quick link. Just click on it and you're in. Now, in Lesley's Totally Talented Team, I have put together 4 different topics so far that I want kids to respond on. So beginning of the year, it's really great to do a little bit of a hello introduction. So this is what I've got kids to do. So I'm showing them about Flipgrid to start with. And getting them to just have a little play with it, because there is so much fun you can have with it. They sort of forget about the learning to start off with because they get really excited about it. So it's really good just to start them off with a nice easy topic where they can just have a play, go a little bit nuts, and just find out what it's all about. So it gives you a little bit of a description of what the task is. So I want them to make a video and share how they pronounce their name and something we should know about them at the beginning of the year. And because this is a Microsoft package, of course, it's got Immersive Reader up the top here. I'll have a quick click on Immersive Reader so I can show you what it does. They can use the wonderful Immersive Reader options to be able to change the writing into whichever way makes it easier for them to read. Down here, what I've done is I've created my own little video so that the students know what the task is, and then I've had 2 students who have put their own videos in. All right, so I will show you the instructions that I have given them.
Hi class, welcome to 2022 in Year 4 with Mrs. Peters. It's going to be such a wonderful year. I thought I'd show you this really cool new program that we're going to use called Flipgrid, and I thought we could all start by just making our own little video and introducing ourselves to each other. So,
all right, I won't make you watch the whole thing. Okay, and we'll go out of that. So you can post a video showing the kids what to do, as well as having the written explanation here for them. And then you can set them the task and they can get onto it. All right, so I'll show you. I'll just go back to Lesley's Totally Talented Team. So to do that, you want to set a new topic, and here you go. So you can put in a title for your topic. You can put in a picture. Here's where you record a video of yourself explaining what the instructions are for the discussion or whichever. You can add some stickers and bits and pieces, upload videos from somewhere else, add a YouTube is really helpful. Integrate to another piece of software if you can, or you can add attachments like assignment sheets or web pages or whichever you need to do. Post your topic and you're good to go. What I'll do now is I will switch to the student view so that you can see what it looks like from their angle.
Okay, so here we are in student view. I've gone into the classes team and I can see that there are 4 discussions that my teacher would like responses to. So today I'm going to go and respond to daylight saving, yes or no. So click on that one. Okay, again, it's going to load up. So it gives me a little description of what the task is here. It's asking me to go to this web link over here, so we can click on that before I do my response. You've got a little Immersive Reader up in the top here to help students read the instructions. All right, so when you are ready to add your response, come over here and click on Add Response, and I'll show you what it looks like. Hello. All right, so you can obviously post a normal video if you like, but the great thing about Flipgrid is down the bottom here, you can use filters. So see the little happy face? Click on the little happy face and it lets you use all these filters. It's very Snapchat-like for those of you who have used that before. Which is really great because it's a great way for the kids to get engaged in what they're doing. I'm going to show you my favorite one. All right, so if you are a child who suffers a bit from anxiety or just have low confidence in public speaking or speaking in front of the class, this is a fabulous option for you. It gives them a little bit of a mask to show what they're doing without putting the image on display, which some kids can be quite uncomfortable with. And I love this one. It's a really great way for them to help boost their resilience and help boost their confidence, but still enabling them to show you their learning and what they've done in the class. So I love that one. Oh look, I'm on a stamp. All right, let's use that one to post my video. So it's really easy. Actually, I'll just show you quickly as well. Down the bottom here, you've got effects. If you click on effects, you can also have a number of things that you can choose from here. So you can add, I won't show that each one. So you can add some text in if you want to. So you can click on the pen and you can write things next to you. Lovely. Okay, you can also put some stickers in. Let's use a hamburger because we can. Excellent. And you can, there's lots of things you can do. I really love down on the end here, we've got backdrop. If you click on that, this one actually lets the students have a virtual background. Hey, there we go. So maybe if they're posting something at home and they don't want people to see behind them, they can use this one. It's a really helpful one for them. So let's just use that one. Okay, so to do our filming, down here in the middle is our filming button. That's record there. So we'll click on that one and we'll record our video. It was on daylight savings, wasn't it? Yes. The thing that annoys me about daylight savings is my 3-year-old goes from sleeping in until 7:15 to waking us up at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's what I love about daylight savings. So sometimes it can be a burden, but otherwise it's okay. All right, press pause. Gives you the option to go back and have a look at it if you want to. So you've got retake over in the corner here. All right. And then you can add more filters, you can put more stickers on, whatever you want to do. When you go down to next, it'll give them, so you can put in here, you can just write a caption or something that you want to with regards to the video. Have a look down here, you've still got your microphone, so you can put it in audio if you need to. And then you've got a link button here as well, which is really helpful. So if you've had a discussion where you've cited references or you've cited websites that you've used, you can actually put the link to the website in there. And then so you can say, according to the statistics on this website, whatever you want to say. Okay, and then post to topic, uploading the video. Video is posted, all done. Then you can go back to the topic and there's my video down in the corner. Look at that. All right, so that was the students' version. Now we'll pop back to the teacher's version to have a look.
All right, so now you've seen it from the student's point of view. We can go in and we can have a little look at what it looks like now that they've posted something in. So there's a post here. Alrighty, so this is Georgie. So Georgie has posted a video telling me how to pronounce her name and something we should know about her. And then down the bottom, what can happen is I can comment on Georgie's video that she's given me. I can post another video giving her feedback on her video. And then what happens is students can come in and comment on them as well. It can be a really great learning tool for students to get feedback from people, obviously their own age and their own peers.
Another really great use of Flipgrid eliminates the need to have students doing oral presentations in front of the class. So, when you set an assignment and the kids are working in groups of 2 or 3 and they all have to present to the class. And for some students, it's a massive deal of anxiety for them to do that. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of emotional energy, and there's a lot of energy of yours that gets spent controlling the class while everyone is presenting, because it takes a long time to sit there through all the presentations. So another great way to do it is have the students actually do their presentations through Flipgrid. This gives them a number of chances to be able to record their presentation so they can get it looking how they want it. They can also have the opportunity to add in graphics and media and text and make their presentations just a little bit more creative. And then that way, instead of spending a whole day with the entire class watching the presentations, you can spend one lesson where each group is assigned another group's presentation to go in and watch and put some feedback and comments on it. It just makes the whole oral presentation ordeal a lot simpler, far less confronting and overwhelming for the children. You don't have to deal with but so-and-so's got this part and they're not here today, and oh no, my iPad's not working, and oh, the technology's failing, and all those issues that always happen on the day that children need to present. So it just makes life a lot more easier for the teacher as well, and it makes the whole thing just a lot less time consuming, which I think is a really great thing for teachers. Okay, so that was Flipgrid. Really exciting new product. I hope you enjoyed it.
Alrighty. I first started using Explain Everything quite a few years ago. I think it was when the app was first developed and it had quite a few teething problems still. So even though I loved the idea of it, I did stop using it for a while. Thankfully, now they have produced 2 excellent versions of it. One of them is free, one of them is paid. The free version is this one, so Explain Basics. It's an app which is available just for iPads, and it's basically an interactive whiteboard recording app. I love using it mostly for maths, but really you can use it for anything. So no accounts needed, just download and you're off. However, it does rely on using the same device if your students are working on something over a period of time. Honestly, though, I usually just do this one in about 10 minutes or so. I don't usually use it over a number of days. This app is really good for kids who they might understand a maths concept, but their bookwork is so all over the place that you really can't tell if they do or if they don't. So it's also perfect for students who need consolidation of new concepts. For them to explain it always helps them to understand it better, as you know. And it's also for students who have problem remembering new concepts. So, they get it one lesson and you think, yes, they've got it. And then literally the next lesson, it's gone again. But if they record themselves actually explaining the concept to themselves, the next lesson they can go back and listen to it and remind themselves of how to do things rather than having to go back to you to explain everything all again. All right, so let's check out Explain Basics.
So this is the home screen of Explain Basics. You can see it's a nice white whiteboard screen. Over here on the left are all the controls that you can do on your screen. So for example, you can add a picture or a video, some clip art, a sticky note, whatever you'd like to do. Put in some audio if you've already got some audio. This is just your regular hand tool to be able to move things around. This is your writing tool. So you've got the choice of using a pencil or a pen or a ruler. I'll show you the ruler in a moment, and with different colours. You've got a highlighter function as well, eraser function. This changes the colour of your screen. You can add shapes, you can add some text. I'll go back and I'll just show you the ruler function is actually really great. So if you click on ruler, it gives you the ruler here on the screen. And what's really fantastic is that when you go to draw a line, your line automatically snaps to the ruler. See that? So the ruler is perfectly straight. Look at that. And then again, also if you want to use the ruler, you can also set the angle. So let's say if I want to draw a line at 45 degrees. All right, and I've got my pen tool, yep. Draw the line and it automatically snaps to the ruler. So take the ruler off. How about that? I love it, that's really great. Okay, so I'm going to use my little X down here, so I'm going to get rid of that. Whoops. I didn't miss the X. There we go. And if you notice down here, the bottom one over here, all right, that's a really great one. That helps you choose what you want to have on your screen. So you can remove things if they're too distracting. So for example, if you just want presenter view, look at that. It's removed a lot of the stuff that is around the screen that can be very distracting for the child. Simple just gives you a little bit more and it's a little bit bigger. So you can see the icons here are a little bit bigger. or you can custom, so you can actually choose what you want to have in your screen as well, which is really helpful. So I really like that one. Let's just go back to, let's go back to standard so I know I've got what I want. Excellent. Now over here as well, here's where you control the pages. And a really great function on here is that you can add a different background. So if you want your child to explain something about maths, it's really great. You can actually put a grid on here. If you're doing some isometric drawing, you can have dots on there. You can have patterns, you can have lines. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do some maths today. So I'm actually going to leave the pattern grid lines on there. And if you use your finger and your thumb to pinch the screen backwards and forwards, you can actually change the size of the grid as well. So that's just using my fingers to pinch the screen. All right, so I'm going to leave it about there. Perfect. All right, up in the corner here, press done. And then we are ready to start. Oops, let's get rid of that, sorry. Okay, so what we're going to do today is my teacher has asked me to explain what I know about expanded expanded notation. Let's go with that one. So I'm going to start by inserting a text box. Okay, that's this one here. So a text box. Okay, and in it, I'm going to write expanded notations. That's my heading. Expanded notation is one I find is really helpful for kids to know, but often it's a little bit hard for them to understand it. All right, now I'm going to highlight. Oops. There we go. And then down the bottom here, you can see you can add a border, you can change the font type, you can change the font size. There's a couple of options down here for you as well. So I might do that. Might change the font size. Let's make it 30. Yeah, excellent, lovely. We can bold it if you want to. All right, so there's my heading ready to go. Okay, so, and then I'm going to go back to I'm going to use a pen tool now. Let's go with blue. I like blue. And my teacher has asked me to explain how to expand the number 385. Let's go with that. And so I'm going to produce a little video for my teacher to show her that I know how to do that. So down the bottom here are my recording tools. All right, so in the middle you've got your red button, which is the record button. So all I need to do is press that button, and then I'm going to start my explanation with my drawing tool. All right, here we go. Okay, Mrs. Peters, I'm going to show you how I know how to do expanded notation. So the number 385, I know that the number 3 is in the hundreds column. So in this number, I know that there are actually 3 hundreds. So this represents 300. And I'm going to change to a different colour. Okay, I know that the 8 is in the tens column. So in this number, the 8 actually represents that there are 8 tens, which is 80. I'm going to change my colour again. And the last number 5 is in the ones column. So I know that there are 5 ones in this number, which represents 5. So 385, written in expanded notation, is 300 plus 80 plus 5. Thank you for listening. And then they press the stop button down the bottom here, and it pops up with a little screen where they can actually edit if they need to. They can go back and change bits and pieces. And then once they're happy with their little video, they can go up the top here is the share button. So they can click on that. And what they can do is they can export it as a video, and it will save what they've just done as a little video. And that's really handy because once they've done that, the best way that they can share it, they can pop it up on Seesaw, so that way mum and dad can have a look at it, and then you can see it very easily as well. Or they can post it up onto Teams, or if you've got Macs in your school, they can airdrop it to you. There's a number of ways that they can actually share that with you. All right, and then, yeah, there's lots of really great features as well, where they can use pointers as well, so that they can sort of show you bits and pieces. All right, so that's Explain Basics. It's a really great one just for helping kids explain their learning of a concept, and can be used for all different subjects. It's really helpful.
Okay, sorry if you heard that messenger call. My husband's interstate and he just called me. Apologise if you heard that. All right, so that was Explain Basics, one of my favourites. Okay, moving on. Making movies or digital books is a great way for students who do struggle with their literacy skills to show you their learning. I often use it as an alternative for those particular students who are never going to put something onto paper. Let them record themselves explaining something to me, maybe some smart sentences, or to show me that they can do a persuasive piece, or that they can do a sizzling start, or rather than wasting precious time trying to make them write and making them get a little bit upset about things. So it engages them in a different way, and it gives them that confidence boost that they need. I'm not going to go into super detail on these programs because in all likelihood you've probably used most of them already. So iMovie is your go-to movie making program for iPads and for Macs. You'll find that students already have some experience in using it. I would suggest that iMovie is probably best for your upper primary students or your secondary students, as it's a little bit difficult. If you have younger students, you probably want to use this one, which is called Clips, which basically does the same thing, but it's just much simpler and much easier to understand. There's a lot of stop motion apps out there. I really like this one, Stop Motion Studio, for its simplicity and its ease of use. I always get students to create the stop motion using this app, and then they can edit the stop motion videos using iMovie or Clips. And then they can add all their filters and effects and everything and go from there. Comic Caption Meme Maker, because why not? Kids are obsessed with making memes these days. It's a great program to use, particularly if you're doing like a punctuation saves lives unit, for example, or it's a great way to demonstrate examples of speech punctuation, inferring, dynamic dialogue if you're a 7-step school. And often students with special needs, do like to create a little superhero persona of themselves and have magical adventures. So comic making programs or even Book Creator is really perfect for that, to help grow their social emotional development. Now, Book Creator is awesome. It's the one app that does require purchase, but I haven't been in a school yet that doesn't already have it, because it's just that awesome. It's a perfect way for the teachers of the little ones to do your bookmaking when you have a student that doesn't want to write. And because it's an iPad app, students who can't write can create their text using the dictate microphone that I showed you before. They can make a book for all different aspects of their lives. So a child with a lot of social needs can make a book about how they dealt with friendship problems at lunchtime. They can make a little book showing why they were showing the red monster during the maths task in the morning, and how the green monster can come and save the day. And I do find that teaching students the movie making skills is actually a great way to be teaching them social skills and things that they do have problems with as well, like eye contact, speaking slowly and clearly, thinking about word choices, illustrations, depending on the audience. And because they can see themselves actually doing it on the screen, they can see all the things that you're always referring to that they do, like showing their angry face or speaking at the ground all the time. Obviously, you want to be looking at using iPads for these apps. So the versatility and the functionality of having the roving camera is just essential for making movies. But the great thing is all these apps don't require accounts of any kind. You just download and go. However, you do need to keep in mind that if you share devices in your class, that you'll need to use the same device each time. So if a student starts making their movie on iPad number 3, they've got to come back to making their movie on iPad number 3, because their project won't be able to access their project on a different device. All right, so this is just a really short video. I'm nearly at the end. Probably thank you so much for sitting through. You're doing really well. So let's have a look at this one, and I'll just show you a couple of things you can do with the movie making programs.
So these apps that are made for creating movies, books, comics, stop motion are just so much fun. They are really engaging for students to use, and depending on the needs of your student, whether it be literacy skills, anxiety, concentration, it eliminates a lot of the difficulties that can hold them back from completing work and gives them a new avenue to demonstrate their learning for you. Giving students alternate ways to show their learning is so valuable when it comes to students with learning difficulties. To be able to complete assessments using voice and audio rather than writing, for an anxious student who has dyslexia, for example, it can change everything. And once they see those improved marks coming back and feedback that is purely about their content and ideas rather than their writing ability, it really boosts their confidence. I've used these programs with children for many years and I've seen the changes in their engagement, in their learning. It builds up their confidence, it gives them a voice, and it often entertains me a lot at the same time. So these are just really simple movie making, iMovie, clips, stop motion, book creator, comics, like the sky's your limit. There's just so many things you can download and so many things that the children are just going to have an absolute ball with creating and showing you their learning. So I really do love Book Creator. There are so many things you can do with it. There's actually a lot of writing competitions out there as well that kids are often too afraid to put entries into because they can't write very well. So this is an excellent alternative for them to be able to enter those competitions and do really well. I'll show you a couple of features now. So you can do just a basic drawing tool where kids can draw their own pictures. You can insert speech. Like I said, the microphone dictate is there. So if you want students to dictate straight in what their text is, you can do that really easily. You can add in sort of comic clip art, you can download images from Google. There's so much you can do, and you can have unlimited books as well. So you can make as many books as you want.
All right, the iMovie trailer function, if you haven't played with it before, it's really incredible. I urge you to have a go. It's really helpful at teaching things like grabber leads or sizzling starts, or teaching kids persuasive features as well. I've got some incredible videos that students have made for me, but for the life of me, I could not find one that didn't have their images in them, so I couldn't show any of them to you. But never mind, I hope you enjoyed the one I made. Anyway, I also want to mention, while we're on the topic of cameras, something really easy that you can do for those students who have like auditory processing issues, memory issues, or they just have trouble sequencing your instructions properly. Filming your instructions is actually a really huge help for them. We all have the best intentions for these students to, you know, after we've explained an activity to the class, to go back and break it down into simple steps for them, or offer them picture diagrams or something. But let's face it, a lot of the time we are just too time poor to do that. So if you just pop your iPad on a table near you, press record, deliver your instructions to the class, then you can just give that iPad to the student or leave it out the front for a number of students. Or if you have one, you can upload it to your Google Classroom or Teams platform. And that way it allows students to then go back and listen to your instructions again as many times as they need without you having to feel like you're a mimicking parrot. All right, we are nearly there, folks. Well done on lasting with me. The last section, I'm just going to show you a lot of really quick iPad apps that I love, super quickly. It's just a 2-minute video. These are all in a content information sheet that I have emailed out. If you haven't got that content sheet and you would like it, just email me and I will send it out to you. Or if you need another copy, just let me know. All right.
Overlay is a great app where you can transpose your photo into other photos, great for literacy writing tasks. Teleprompter is an awesome app which allows students to upload the script that they're trying to read while they are filming themselves. So it allows their eyesight to be in line with the camera and just makes for a much more professional video, and really good for those kids who have trouble always looking down. Sushi Monster is just the best maths app ever, practicing lots of really easy operations with a monster that eats sushi. Google Translator, so simple yet such a useful app, just to help with those EALD students you have in your class who, when you really need to give them some important information and make sure they understand it. Like for example, when you're having a fire drill, or if you've got class excursions or something where you need to know that they've understood what you said. So simple app just to have on the iPad right there, ready to go. Helpful for parent-teacher conversations as well. Calculator Pad Edition is a really great app which is just slightly better than the normal one that the iPad comes with. Along with having the excellent scientific calculator, it comes with a unit converter, a fraction calculator, and a tip calculator. The fraction calculator is really helpful for when students want to actually check if their fraction calculations that you've taught them are correct. There's a dice app called Natural Light 20, which is a really great alternative when you have run out of dice in your classroom. It offers you a whole plethora of different kind of dice that you can use and allows you to have multiple dice on the screen that you can roll. If, like me, you are a fan of the Natural Maths 100 square chart mental routines, but you're sick of your kids using up all your whiteboard markers, then this is a great alternative for you. It comes in a digital app version. Woohoo! And lastly, geoboards. So if you love using those geoboards in your classroom, but they always have missing nails or you don't have enough rubber bands, here is a digital alternative version for you, which has all the same features. Love it.
And this officially brings us to the end of today's webinar. I really hope that you got something out of it and there was at least one thing that resonated as a good idea with you. Remember that while it may take a little bit of extra time and energy setting some of these things up with your students at first and showing them the ropes and reminding them to use them, the idea is that they will become independent using them without you, and eventually they will. It will become habitual and they will transfer into all other aspects of their learning. So if you or your school would like to contact me for coaching, consulting, or if you just have any questions about anything you've seen today or anything else you would like to know about, my details are here. So you can email me at lesley@thebeck.com.au. You can find my website with everything you need to know at www.thebeck.com.au. You'll also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, but the website definitely has much more information than all of those things. I'm available to book for one-to-one coaching for any number of teachers. I can run full day or half day training and developments. I can work with small group PLTs or leadership teams. I can run professional development during staff meeting or pupil free days or provide support and advice. I'll be running this webinar again on the 28th of June. If you want to recommend it to anyone who you think might benefit from it, word of mouth is definitely the best way to get this information out there and support those teachers and students who can really use these programs to help them. So head to my website for more information on those. So this concludes the formal part of the webinar. Thank you again so much for joining me today. As I said, this is an absolute passion of mine. I love doing these PDs. Don't forget to cross another 90 minutes off your PD hours checklist. And I would really love if you could go to the chat feature and click on the SurveyMonkey link and just fill out a quick feedback form for me. I would really appreciate any feedback you can give me. Thank you so much. So you're welcome to exit the meeting now. However, I will stay on just for another 10 minutes and I'm happy to answer any questions that you've got. So thank you again and have a great evening. Bye.